Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Post Fight. And in this edition of Post Fight, I'll be doing Post Fight UFC 289 or the Post Fight for UFC 289, however I want to say it or however I want to say it, but you get what it is. This is the recap. I'm going to focus on the L's and see what improvement I can make for future cards and these opponents. I mean these fighters, future opponents and whatnot. So make it better. So for the card, I went 6-4 or 6-4-1. It was that Curtis versus the Maivo fight. I went to a no contest. So it was originally 11 fights, but you can just take that one off and be 6-4. I went with the Maivo. He likely would have won, and I would have been 7-4 instead of 6-4. But it is what it is. So 6-4-1 or just 6-4. Just focus on win-loss ratio. So yeah, went 6-4 for the card. 6 of 10, 60%. That's pretty decent, but could be better. Should be better. But it's a bad night. It ain't too bad. That's all I'm trying to say. You just make sure you just try to make your bad nights not as bad, and then you continue to get these good nights. So it's a bad night. It's not so bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Or not good night or not great night. It's a lesser night. It's not that bad. But anyway, I said but anyway like 20 times in 20 seconds. It's amazing how I did that. But anywho, so first fight was my first L. It was Belbita versus Maria Oliveira, and like I said, I don't really care about this matchup. And it was, matter of fact, it was just as mediocre, if not more mediocre than I was saying it was going to be. Couldn't care less about how it went. Probably can go decision. It went decision. I said, no matter who I'm picking, it's going to be low confidence. I just went with the person who was the dog there. So like a match I didn't care about. And in my honest opinion about the fight, I ain't even going to analyze it. What I see in this fight out of both of these women is I see two people that's going to get eaten up, likely get eaten up by their future opposition, especially Maria Oliveira. She probably get eaten up for sure by her next opponents. But Belbita has a slim chance of being able to survive, but they match her with anybody decent, she getting destroyed. So both of these women likely gonna be on the other side of a max bet in their next fights, unless everybody max bet and they minus 1,000 or I mean plus 1,000 or something. Then well, their opponent's minus 1,000 or something. Then yeah, maybe the max bet ain't coming in, but anywhere under like around minus 300, minus 200, yeah, minus 300. That's a max bet against them because, as you saw, mediocre. It's flat out mediocre. So that's the first L. Second L was David Dvorak versus Ursek. And I give Ursek his props. He looked good out there. I mean, I think at first David Dvorak was controlling the fight, looking good, like looking like the fighter who had been fighting, that better competition that Ursek had not stepped up to fight. At least not in the professionally. Maybe he's training with these good guys. Maybe he's fighting good guys. Maybe he's coming overseas. Maybe they're over there and whatnot. But as far as in his professional career and amateur career, he had never fought no one nearly as good as the level of competition that is in the UFC, and especially not to the level that Dvorak was. And Dvorak looked like the cleaner fighter. It was a close fight throughout, but early on it was clear that Dvorak was leading, and then he got hurt. And well, he didn't get hurt. He got hurt, but Ursek hurt him. It was in case no luck. It was no fluke. Nothing. So ain't no case like, oh, he was winning. He just got lucky. He didn't get lucky. He set him up. He landed clean. Dvorak made some technical errors on the feet, defensive errors, and Ursek capitalized. He saw something. He capitalized, hurt him, and by hurting him, he was able to shift the fight. I think even hurting Dvorak, fight or flight shifted to survival mode, and he started wrestling, which I think also tired him out later in the fight. Also made him a little bit more timid on the feet, and like I said, that wrestling as well going to tire you out. So the fight started to slow down a little bit. At least Dvorak's pace started to slow down a bit, and Ursek was able to take advantage. And also when Dvorak just desperation shooting, was able to reverse some positions and edge the fight out. Come on strong in that third round as well. Do what he needs to do to get the win. So good win for Ursek. Still was a very close fight. And going forward, I think Ursek could definitely do well in this weight class. Do I think he's going to be some elite fighter? Well, I think he could be elite. I'm not even going to say no more. I think he could be elite. He has definitely shit in mind. He could be elite, but I see him as like top 5. I don't think so. But I could definitely see him maybe some way eking his way to a title shot. But don't see him as a champion. Don't see him as a solidified top 5. I do see this guy could definitely win some fights in the UFC and win some fights in the top 10 for sure. So definitely going to be looking out to see him. And I don't think Dvorak's stocks drop all that much either. I think his stocks are still pretty good. But yeah, and also it's probably be good to look at Dvorak in his next fight because they probably give him a step down. So He still looked good. He didn't get finished out there. He was leading up till he was hurt. So he's still a very solid fighter. I think the mistakes he made, he could go back and fine tune the skills and still be a very solid fighter. And same with him. I don't think he's going to be ever be no top 5 fighter or nothing in the UFC, flyweight or bantamweight or whatnot. But I do think he could definitely win some fights within the top 10. He was a top 10 fighter, or at the time of this fight, not anymore. But yeah, Dvorak, solid dude. So he could definitely pick up some wins. I definitely will look forward to see if they give him a step down of competition and maybe people start to get off him a little bit and he gets better odds for his next fight. Because like I said, I feel he could beat a lot of guys in the weight class. If fight Matt Chanel next fight, I feel he could beat Matt Chanel. If they give Urseg Matt Chanel, I feel like he probably knocks out Matt Chanel. So yeah, both guys have promise in their next fights. Urseg probably be a little bit stay off him a little bit because they probably give him he might originally have been minus 100 in the next fight. Now he might be minus 300 in the next fight. So kind of lay off. I feel like Dvorak probably gonna shift to a minus 200, minus 150 maybe his next fight. Maybe even be a dog in the next fight. So it's looking like the better value of your next fight between these two guys is probably gonna be on Dvorak. So I don't feel the stocks drop, if at all. I don't feel like they drop a lot, if not at all, for Dvorak, and that's that one. But yeah, as far as this is where did I go wrong with that one? I can't really say I went too wrong with that one. I mean, it's a wrong pick in hindsight, but I feel Urseg had not fought in that level of competition for me to really rate his performance. I saw the intangibles about him and stuff, saw the skills, but hadn't seen against an elite fighter, and this fight definitely showed it against an elite fighter. So it is what it is. That's all you can do. You can kind of maybe try to flip the coin, but better typically in these situations, unless you just really just rolling dice, just lean to the equally skilled fighter that has shown experience and success at a higher level versus the guy who hadn't shown that success. So yeah, I'm talking about this one pick too much, and on to the next. So I can really just combo these last two L's because they both kind of the same thing, but hey, let's just do them individually. So I think the first one was Blake Builder versus Kyle Nelson, and you can point to the issue that all Canadian fighters won and the Canucks and whatnot. It was because they are in Canada. It wasn't because he's the better fighter. It was because they're in Canada. You could say that, but that's not the truth. I think where I went wrong with this one right here with Nelson versus Builder is I already knew that Builder wasn't the best offensive wrestler. He's not a guy that can really take you down well and control you. He kind of really had to work to get you down, and he's not the most technical striker. And also, I've seen the development of Kyle Nelson. We've seen him we've seen him give Duho Choi. I said Duho. We've seen him give Duho Choi issues. And who else? That British fighter, that British sniper, Che Mills' cousin, whatever his name is. Well, I'm just drawing stuff out there, but yeah, the British striker. We see him have very close fights. So I've seen the evolution in Kyle Nelson. I can't act like I didn't see the evolution. I just kind of ignored it, and I went with a momentum pick here, and Builder's undefeated. He's this, he's that, and Kyle Nelson at one point was just just a fall down fighter pretty much. He just got been kind of brought in the UFC to build other fighters back up, but he that's the position he was put in this fight. That's the position he was put in the Duho Choi fight, and both of the times in the Duho Choi fight, it ended up going to a draw or something, and in this fight he pulled out a victory. So he's still kind of in that category, but he definitely saying I ain't gonna just lay down for everybody or anybody. Not willingly, at least. But yeah. So he did a good performance. I think. But back to where I went wrong with this one, I just feel, Builder has the tools, but he's lacking on the feet as far as technical striking, and we saw it, especially as the fight went on. He got frustrated and he started doing front kicks and acting out and dancing and doing dumb stuff because he didn't have the technique. He didn't have the rest of the puzzle pieces. So he kind of lost on the feet, limited on the feet. He's got a couple overhands. And not really the most technical striker. He's a technical grappler, but he kind of struggles to get it there. Unless maybe his opponent kind of takes him there, or it's an opportunistic takedown. He's not the best offensive takedown artist. And we saw that as well. So Kyle Nelson was a sharper striker, and Builder really wasn't able to get it where he was strongest at. He was able to have some success in the first round just based off aggression and loading up on overhands. But beyond that, he didn't really do much. He didn't really have much success. And once Kyle Nelson figured him out, Builder wasn't able to make the adjustments because again he's missing those puzzle pieces. So yeah, it's just the issue with Builder is that needs to improve his takedown offense and needs to be more of a technical striker. And that's where Cal Nelson was able, like I said, Builder couldn't get his fight to the ground, and Cal Nelson was just simply the more technical striker. And it's not like that stuff was not just wasn't known. It was out there. It was known stuff, and I even mentioned it was known. But again, I kind of lean to the middle up the momentum of Builder. He's undefeated, or he can make improvements. He can do this and that, and he should win this fight. But again, you can't always lean to momentum. Like, you can flip it up. Like I said, ultimately, do I feel bad about this pick? Not really, but it is. The proof was in the pudding, kind of already. The evidence was there, so that's why I went wrong that one. But going forward, I don't know. Ultimately, I ain't too high on either guy going forward. I think both guys I could fade going forward. Like, pick the other person depending on styles. Cal Nelson, they probably going to match him up. But like I said, they're going to keep the same trend with Cal Nelson. They're going to probably step his level of competition up in his next fight, but they definitely going to be still trying to put him out there. They really going to be setting him up to lose. Like, they're going to put him in the next fight probably with some guy, either, some top 15 guy that's kind of like needs to get a win or something, top 20 guy that needs to get a win or something like that. And that's what they're going to do. Or they're going to entice him to come in on short notice to lose to somebody. That's what they're going to do with Cal Nelson. I feel like, so it's probably going to be a good thing to fade him his next fight, but or just leave it alone. Fade him his next fight or leave it alone. That's probably going to be the thing for the next fight. Builder, they're probably going to start treating Builder as it's how they treat Cal Nelson in his next fight. They're probably going to be like, you lost to Cal Nelson? Your striking look like that? You don't have your grappling, but your takedowns look like this? All right, we're going to match you up with this guy that got really good takedown, just to make sure you can't take him down, and got bricks in his hand, so he going to knock you out, basically. Or we're going to put you in there with this grappling prodigy who's going to put you on the mat, but going to school you on the mat. That's pretty much what they're going to do to Builder probably in the next fight. So definitely both looking like fade or pass. Fade them, like pick the other guy against them, or pass on the matchup. As far as I'm assuming. But obviously things could change. You can see, this is actually a good matchup for this fighter, a good matchup for this fighter. But yeah. And then the next one where I got wrong, which was like my final L. So the first one was Oliveira, second one was Dvorak, third L was, I just talked about it, I'm acting like I don't know it. Builder. Now the fourth L and final L was Miranda Maverick versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. And yeah, my worst case scenario, I guess, and I was kind of predicting this matchup, came true, I guess, to an extent. Maybe a little bit worse. I feel Miranda Maverick's not the best striker. I know a lot of people act like, she could strike, she's this, she's that. She's a mediocre striker. I mean, she's not a striker. She's a wrestler grappler first. But as far as the strike goes, it's pretty sloppy. It looked more improved than some other times, but still not where it needs to be. And if she couldn't get a takedown, it could be an issue for her. Or she couldn't grapple the way she wanted to, it could be an issue for her. And it was an issue for her. So Jasmine Jasudavicius, 73% takedown defense ratio going into this fight, held up. And she was able to stuff takedowns on Miranda Maverick, reverse the position on Miranda. Like, why can't I say Miranda Maverick? I'm Miranda Maverick. But was able to reverse the positions or the takedowns on Miranda Maverick. So she was able to, use her takedowns against her, get a top position, and really neutralize Miranda Maverick out there. So she was the better fight. She made, Miranda Maverick made Jasmine Jasudavicius look like she was Erin Blanchfield. That's what she made her look like out there. Literally, like, she had to get in position reverse, get her back taken, couldn't do nothing on the feet. It looked just like the Erin Blanchfield fight. And does that mean that Jasmine Jasudavicius is Erin Blanchfield level? I don't think so. But one good thing I would say about this it don't have nothing to do with either woman for the most part, but that shows you that Natalia Silva, the level where Natalia Silva at is pretty high. Like, this division is looking healthier now with, Blanchfield, the Natalia Silva, and more, and even Teresa Bleda. Like, if she lost to Natalia Silva, she still, look up until the finish, she looked like she was like, competitive with her. So you got Teresa Bleda, you got a new champion at she's not new to the division, but she's the newly cemented champ. Well, Alexa Grasso, newly cemented champion. So like the division's livening up. So you got Natalia Silva, Teresa Bleda, you got Erin Blanchfield, you got Talia Santos. It's just a lot of good names. But anyway, back to this fight. It's just like, yeah, this shows. Yeah, I don't think Jasmine Jasudavicius is definitely not Erin Blanchfield, but I think what it shows that Miranda Maverick still has the same issues, and she didn't really truly evolve. And yeah, she lost. Like she can when she can get the takedown, you see how limited she is, and Jasmine Jasudavicius was able to exploit that. Especially, not even just that, she was able to exploit how limited she is when she can't get the takedowns, and the threat is not really respected. Although you're not really respecting takedowns, you're reversing them on her when she does go for the takedown, and like to show how limited she is, and also show that you can beat her in the grappling as well. Like it's not just a case of just stuff her takedowns on a striker. You can reverse the positions on her, and now you going if she well she's not gonna end up against no Natalia Silva now, especially losing to the woman who lost to Natalia Silva in dominant fashion. She's not gonna be in love. So yeah, this kind of goes back to what I was saying. She's not elite. She's like matter of fact, this fight makes it look like she's not even elite. Well, I wouldn't even say she's elite. She's definitely not elite. She's good, yeah, but not great and not elite. So she's good. But yeah, I don't know what context that has or what value that adds to this conversation or anything. But yeah, I just feel yeah, Miranda Maverick got exposed and just outclassed in this fight. That's as simple as you can say. You can say, oh, it was a competitive fight. Not really. She got position. She got beat everywhere the fight took place. That's not competitive. I mean, yeah, obviously it's easy to say that, but as far as what we go say is competitive, it's not. You blow somebody out by 20 points in the basketball game. Yes, they were able to put up 80, but you put up 100. You maintain that 20 gap the whole fight. I mean, the whole basketball game. It wasn't competitive. Yeah. But anyway, that's about it. So I knew that could be an issue for Miranda Maverick, and it proved to be a big issue and a bigger issue than I even assumed it would be. But going forward, I think Miranda Maverick is definitely lock bet against if she goes against anyone that's like really elite. And people with good takedown defense and good grappling awareness, I think that's going to be something to look to fade her against. But elite, anybody I would consider elite is going like the Blanchfields, the Natalia Silvas, the Talia Santos, and probably a couple other women in this weight class. Obviously, Valentina Shevchenko. That's just like lock bet 10 units on that. It's not like she was even a finisher either. So yeah, so it's like what real threat that she had when she don't got no puncher chance. She got wet noodle arms. She got soggy arms, soggy punches. Well, not soggy arms, but she got soggy. Her punches are soggy. Yeah, and Jasmine Jasudavicius, I think she'll get pushed along for it, but as good as her performance was, I think that's just gonna push her probably to end up fighting a Blanchfield or Talia Santos. And I think they're gonna dominate her. She looked good, looking improved, but again, she's gonna see how big the gap is from Miranda Maverick to the Talia Santos and the Blanchfields and stuff in her next fight. I feel like they're gonna elevate her and give her a big steep jump and just kind of feed her to the elite. So that's what you're going to end up. And that's pretty much where Miranda Maverick was going to end up again. If she would have won this fight, she would have been put in another position to challenge an elite fighter and would have got schooled again because she couldn't get past Jasmine. Matter of fact, she got schooled by Jasmine Jasudavicius. So what do you expect what happened to her? She actually fought a true elite in this weight class. And not to say they aren't good women or whatnot. I'm just saying they aren't elite. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Then to the main event to wrap it up. Well, I'm just going to skip the main event. But good performance by Charles Oliveira, I will say. Good performance by Charles Oliveira in the co-main event. Picked him to win. Not quite how I predicted it, but kind of similar position. Kind of hurt. Darius starts to get a little bit sloppy, make a little mistakes. Charles Oliveira cracks him. Darius on the ground trying to, regain himself, trying to hit some sweeps, trying to, regain himself, trying to regain position and survive. And then I know you get clubbed a little bit, and then Oliveira would tap on submission, but he just clubbed him to sleep. And I think I predicted second round, but similar setup, but first round in a TKO, like similar ground and pound, but the ground and pound did it. It didn't need a sub. He just finished off with ground and pound. And it was in the first round, not the second round. So a little bit off the mark. But I guess as far as that one, where I can prove that, kind of look at Darius don't really get sub. He gets TKO. Well, he did get sub by Chiesa, but I think the more likely outcome would have been KO than sub. Because like I said, it's kind of hard to submit Dariush for the most part. More likely, most losses have come by TKO, KO, TKO. So that should have kind of been my direction if I was going for. But hey, in the distance, still was plus 200 in that cash. So good-o. Good-o. And yeah, now to the main event. Yeah, I thought Amanda Nunes would just take her down more in this one, but it like she was respecting the up kicks more than anything from Aldana. Like, she was respecting like the check hooks, and she was respecting the up kicks. Like, she didn't want to get kicked in the kidney. That's all she was respecting from Aldana. Outside that, she was kicking her knee in. She was kicking her inside leg, outside leg, jabbing her up, and is having her way with her. Like, I feel like she could have finished her, but she just played the safe route. I expect her to play the safe route. She did play the safe route. Even her coach was like, lay off a little bit, and she just coasted to a decision and just picked apart Aldana for 5 rounds. Aldana had like one moment in the whole fight. She caught her with check hook when Amanda Nunes got a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too extended. She caught her with a check hook, but outside of that was pretty much one-way traffic. She just picked apart Aldana for like 5 rounds. But yeah, safe route, picked her apart, and played it cool and got a decision. It wasn't to take her down and just like a couple little hammer fists and little punch her in the rib a little bit, rub her belly a little bit, and just ground out of the 5-round decision. It was more so chew up the legs and jab her up and mix up a little bit type of decision. But nonetheless, it was the safe route. So kind of on the money there. Either way, as far as method and fighter, perfect prediction, but a little bit different, a little bit of a different route to get to the same outcome. But yeah, what I would say about this one as far as Amanda Nunes, like, really it's not no competition at 145 or 35 for her. So hey, I guess she could stick around and continue to collect checks in this division, in this league. They ain't got nothing for her, and this sport ain't got nothing for her. Like I said, there ain't no real super fights for her left. Ain't no real competition for her left in the UFC. Like 45, who they got for her now? Why 35? She could fight Juliana Pena again, but don't see that fight being super competitive in her third fight, especially since Nunes is back, in full health and whatnot. Yeah, I see Nunes just dominating that fight again in the third fight. And outside that, like, who she really got? Maybe Holly Holm, but she already beat her. Will beat her again. And Holly Holm moved like 40 something now, so it ain't gonna be a better match. So again, like, you kind of drawing straws. I see the 125 division come along nicely, and I'm not saying she's gonna fight somebody in the 125. I'm just saying you seen other weight class coming along, but the women's 45 should just be retired. That division is straight trash. There's literally no one in that weight class. That division should be retired. 35, I see people trying to develop, but nobody's on her level at 35. So 25, too small, too little. So like I said, she ain't really got no competition. She can continue to collect checks and extend that record of defenses or total defenses for the title defenses and whatnot. But collect the checks and continue to expand your high score and whatnot. But yeah, ain't really much competition for it. Kind of gonna be hard to see like what's gonna motivate you to get up when like there's literally nothing there for you to do, except just make money and just extend your legacy as far as more defenses. But as far as big wins, like big legacy wins, it's like it's nothing there. You beat the greatest woman of all time before you, who was Chris Cyborg. Now you became the greatest woman of all time, MMA fighter of all time. You beat the biggest money in a women's MMA history. You beat Ronda Rousey, and you stopped both of them. You stopped Cyborg. You stopped Ronda Rousey. You beat Valentina Shevchenko twice, and she was like pretty much the second greatest women's fighter of your era. So you beat her twice. She's the former 125 champ. So like, what's there for you to do? It's like, again, no one at 45, no one at 35. Retirement's got to be right around the corner. Like, it's nothing for her left. Just retire, sign autographs, and write a book, make a movie about yourself, and retire. Be a family woman, or yeah. Anyway, and then Aldana, it's not like she really didn't deserve this title shot. It's just because, again, Amanda Nunes has beaten everyone in this weight class. So like, hey, maybe you can pose something interesting. Maybe you're gonna hop on that Mexican success train and you're gonna pull off a victory or something. Like, maybe. But outside that, it was Aldana did not deserve a title shot at all. She only earned that title shot because really being Mexican, and two, because Amanda Nunes beat everyone else. So yeah, that was about it. So, but Aldana, I think she still could do good. Hopefully, maybe for her sake, I guess positive for her. Maybe Amanda Nunes does retire, and then it opens back up, and maybe she's one win away from a title shot or a vacant title shot, and maybe she has a better chance there. But even then, I think Holly Holm will still beat her again. She still has poor takedown defense, a limited fighter, easy to bully against the cage. This wall install her, easy to wall install, easy to take down. Again, easy just to impose your physical will upon her. So again, I think Raquel Pennington beats her again, Holly Holm beats her again, and probably maybe a few other fighters will beat her. So yeah, but all I can say is for Aldana, maybe some strength and conditioning. Maybe just try to bulk up and go to 45. And when Amanda Nunes retires, so I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what to do for her. Like, she's been fighting for a long time and still the same weaknesses. But that's the issue. Sometimes people can fight for 40 years and the same weakness is just gonna always be there. That's just part of who they are. So she'll always be susceptible to being pushed against the cage and somebody will oppose upon her or taken down and controlled. So it's gonna continue to be an issue, but yeah, that's her issue, not mine. And that's the thing. I think she could definitely win some fights going on for it. But yeah, her chance of winning the title is looking very slim. But hey, she has had a good career. She's made it to a title shot at least, or to fight for a title. So she can't be too sad. She had a great career and nothing. I mean, she has a lot to be proud of, and that's the video. Went 6-4, 6 of 10, or you could say really 7 and let me not even do that. If they say it's a no contest, it's a no contest. If it is what it is, like I say, when they say it's a win, it's a win. They say it's a loss, loss. They say it's a no contest, it's a no contest. So went 6-4-1 for the card. Win-loss ratio 6 of 10, and yeah, 6-4, 6 out of 10, 60%. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.